Many of us often feel like we're lagging behind. It doesn't matter how much progress you make. It often seems like you're not on solid financial ground. Moreover, there always seems to be someone your age who appears to be doing better in the money department. In the United States, many people may give the impression of financial prosperity, but the facts I'm about to reveal will unveil the deceptive nature of appearances. You've likely seen those glamorous social media posts on platforms like Instagram or Facebook, portraying people living the high life. However, in reality, they might not be as financially well off as they appear, often struggling to make ends meet. Envision there are two games for measuring your financial well-being. The first is the status game. Many individuals feel financially inadequate because they're fixated on this game. It's like a relentless competition to outdo others, whether it's having a larger house or a fancier car. The issue is that there's no finish line in this game. It's a perpetual chase because it hinges on comparing yourself to the social media facade. For instance, buying a fancy car only boosts your image if others don't possess one. Once everyone has it, it loses its impact. The second game is the wealth game. Unlike the status game, it's not about what others perceive. It's about what happens behind the scenes. It revolves around the money you're saving and investing, establishing a business and spending on endeavors with a positive return on investment. This game is about constructing a foundation for financial independence and living life on your terms. Don't gauge your financial success by the standards of the status game. Once you grasp this, you'll realize that you're in a better financial position than you had believed. The status game is akin to a movie trailer. It highlights only the best parts while omitting the rest. Did you know that 57% of Americans lack savings for emergencies? In the UK, 40% of individuals don't have enough funds to cover a month's worth of living expenses in the event of job loss, and 57% of Americans can't handle a $1,000 emergency. This signifies that a substantial portion of the population isn't prepared for unexpected financial hardships. Shockingly, 20% of Americans have no savings whatsoever. Saving money for these situations is crucial. Ideally, you should aim to have 3 to 6 months' worth of your monthly expenses saved up. If you have a very secure job, you can target 3 to 4 months of expenses saved. But if your job isn't stable, consider striving for 6 to 12 months of expenses saved. Here are some invaluable tips for building your emergency fund. Whenever you receive your paycheck, create a budget and allocate a portion of it for emergencies. Your focus here is not on making this money grow through investments. It should be readily available in case of an emergency. Now here's a shocking fact. 33% of Americans have absolutely no savings for their retirement years. Can you believe that 1 out of every 3 Americans has no money set aside for their retirement? This means that 33% of all Americans lack financial preparation for their golden years, typically around the ages of 60 or 70. These are the years when you'll need money for essentials like rent, food, electricity, and transportation. Without savings, you might find yourself relying on others, such as your children, grandchildren, friends, or even the government for support. Invest your money today, even if it's just a small amount. Don't be one of the many who have no savings for retirement. If you're putting away 10 to 15% of your income for the future, you're already ahead of the curve. And it's worth it, because the more you invest now, the brighter your future will be. Think of it as a gift to your future self. The last statistic I want to share is quite alarming. 50% of Americans rely on credit cards to cover their everyday expenses. It's astonishing that nearly half of all Americans, or approximately 50%, use credit cards to pay for their daily needs. Younger generations are more prone to using credit cards for essential living costs. About 61% of Generation Z and 53% of millennials often turn to credit cards to cover their necessary expenses. It's important to note that credit cards themselves aren't inherently bad, as long as you use them responsibly and pay off your balance every month. Studies reveal that people tend to spend more when using credit cards, and they can make it easy to overspend. So, if you can save money, build an emergency fund, and pay your bills without accumulating debt, you're already in a more secure financial position than a significant portion of the population. If you were to consult the average salary in the United States, you'd find it to be around $59,128, as reported by Forbes. However, these figures don't truly encapsulate our feelings towards our own earnings. Research indicates that it's more about what our friends and peers are making that affects our contentment. Even if we're doing well, learning that they earn more can leave us feeling discontent. This phenomenon is rooted in the concept of loss aversion, where we tend to feel the pain of losing money more intensely than the joy of gaining it. If we discover we're earning more than our friends, it feels good, but that satisfaction is often short-lived. Conversely, if we realize we're earning less than them, it hits us hard, leaving us dissatisfied. This creates a challenging cycle as our income rises. So does that of our friends, perpetuating the cycle of comparison. The question then becomes, how do we liberate ourselves from this perpetual state of discontent? This leads us to the clash between societal and individual notions of success. Picture a special pair of glasses that can alter your perspective on life. Just like that, society often lauds individuals with immense wealth, luxurious possessions, and high social standing. But what if we donned a different pair of glasses and gauged success from our unique standpoint? What if we measured our success based on what truly matters to us as individuals, rather than what society dictates? This change in perspective can allow us to see ourselves in an entirely new light. It liberates us from the relentless cycle of comparing ourselves to others and striving to meet societal standards. Imagine having to choose between excelling at something while everyone believes you're subpar, or being mediocre, but being perceived as exceptional by everyone. It's akin to deciding whether you'd prefer to be at the pinnacle of the social hierarchy, even if it's not genuine, or being in the middle while acknowledging that you are the best according to your own standards. It's about the choice between leading a counterfeit life or being authentic and true to yourself. There's a quote that aptly states, "If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change." It's time to shift our perspective on success, prioritize our individual standards, and break free from the shackles of societal expectations. That's it for today. Remember that balance is key, and the greatest investment you can ever make is in yourself. Adopt these behaviors to start your quiet journey to success.